I'd like to give a big thanks to Optics Planet for providing me with this MAGPUL Bipod for testing and review. There are links in the comments section of this video that will take you to Optics Planet and straight to this bipod, and you can save an additional 5% off of their already low prices on everything you buy when you use the discount code OPINION5. These bipods might be hard to find for a while yet, but Optics Planet's doing a pretty good job of keeping them in stock, getting them right out the door. You should check there first, and don't forget, use OPINION5 so I can help you save a few bucks. The legs are a combination of 6061 T6 aluminum, that's mil spec, stainless steel, and polymer. The legs collapse to 6.3 inches and they extend 4 inches to a total of 10.3 inches. When folded, the legs are less than 2.5 inches deep below the mount point and less than 3.5 inches wide. The entire folded unit has a length of about 7 3/4 inches. The rubber feet are ridged and tapered and can be easily replaced by just drifting out a pin. And even MAGPUL recognizes the Devo Power Drome similarity. After all, are we not men? The main adjustment knob is nicely sized and deeply knurled to allow quick and easy adjustments with bare or gloved hands. Just a quick turn either way can lock the bipod in place or give you the movement you need for a fine adjustment. This knob is what controls the tension for the tilt and the pan functions. The tilt range is 50 degrees and the pan range is 40 degrees. The user can lock the pan function while still maintaining the ability to tilt. The legs are extended by a single push button at the top and a simple tug moves it downward. The legs deploy easily with one hand, in part because they're spring tensioned, and they lock in place when they're vertical. Mounting options are available for 1913 Picatinny, which is what you see here, M-LOK, or ARMS 17S. It's available in flat black or flat dark earth, and for both the MSRP is $109.95. I'm not really a heavy-duty rifle user. I'm more the occasional long gun shooter, and I'm not very hard on my guns or my gear. So I might not be the best person to tell you just how rugged this bipod is, or isn't. Even if I used it for a year before reviewing it, it's not likely I would punish it very much unless I deliberately tried to. So for me, the guy who wants a reliable and sturdy bipod that can be easily switched between rifles and will do everything from providing a good rest for shooting groups to perhaps the occasional light action shooting role, this MAGPUL seems perfectly suited. I'm not saying that it won't withstand much more. I believe that it will handle far more rough use than I dish out. I just can't tell you that it has. Extreme use might prove some of the plastic parts to be weak. Maybe over time the tension screw will wear out, or maybe not. But based on the testing I've done with it, under gentler circumstances, it's passed with flying colors. I like the ease of deployment, and equally like the ease of folding it back up, and stowing it away, and getting it out of my way. The unit holds steady under the recoil of a pistol caliber carbine and an AR-15. In most cases, my red dot never left my aim point more than a degree or two between shots. And because the unit tilts and pans so nicely, if you do jump off target, it's easy to regain it without having to lift the rifle and set it back down again. On a smoother surface, it's easy to steady the rifle using the bipod as a foregrip. And if Mother Nature, or an evil match director, provides you with only an unstable and awkward rest from which to shoot, this bipod makes a great level rest in the folded position. And because it's polymer, it won't scratch or mar most of the surfaces you rest it on. And what's with this pinky? Somebody get this guy a teacup. The MAGPUL Bipod seems to offer just enough flex to absorb the recoil without jumping out of position or digging holes into the ground. Again, this was with the light recoil of an AR-15, so take that into consideration. I think this top-down view demonstrates the stability of the flexing of the joints pretty nicely. Having the two legs offset a bit, kind of like a little fighter stance, might have helped, but I admit that was unintentional. Engaging multiple targets from a fixed position was made pretty easy with the pan and tilt functions of this unit. And even on an unstable and slippery surface, like this barrel top that we're all so accustomed to, it was easy to steady with just one hand. The bottom line so far, after a few hundred rounds run with this bipod, I like it. It's just about exactly what I was looking for. Simple design and function, and tough enough and durable enough to last me for years. Time and torture tests will tell more, but I might leave that to the people more experienced and better equipped to do that right. Meanwhile, I'm going to find more excuses to get this out and run it on all my rifles. And the leg extensions have stops approximately every half inch. One of my favorite features on this MAGPUL Bipod is the panning function. It has an incredible field of panning sweep capabilities, which makes it awesome when you want to plant and get a firm platform and then have to transition to multiple targets, or even just make a small adjustment in your point of aim. It also has a very nice tilt capability, and when you combine those two, it really is like having your own private turret. And if you don't want all that extra motion, or you don't want to avoid any wobbliness, no tools are required. Just reach down and tighten this very well knurled nut, and you have secured it in place. One minor complaint that I have, or maybe not so much complaint as just an observation that is counter to my normal preference, let's put it that way, and that is the screws where the 1913 Picatinny variety attaches to the rail, and that is that it requires a tool. I would prefer a small knurled thumb screw, maybe a thumb screw with a slot, to be the best of both worlds. So that means you either have to carry a tool like this with you, which I tend to do. I keep this fix-it tool set in my range bag. It's still not all that terribly convenient when you want to switch the bipod from gun to gun. Or there is a cheaper alternative. It'll cost you exactly 5 cents, and that is to keep this tool in your pocket or range bag, because it does work perfectly with the slot. You're not going to get a lot of torque on it with a nickel, but it feels snug enough to me, and that ought to work. One of the features I really have learned to love today working with this MAGPUL Bipod is the quick and easy one-handed deployment. It is that simple. Also, easy one-hand extension. You got a single button and a pull, and it is down at whatever length you desire. That is also much appreciated. All this can be done with one hand while you safely and securely hold the rifle with the other. Same thing with folding it back up. Obviously, if you're right-handed, the one on the left side is easy because you've got that release button there for your thumb. What I found easiest for using just my right hand to also fold the one on the right side, because it's harder to get my thumb on there, is just use the ball of my hand. Push in the button and fold it back up. So it's easy to manipulate this thing one-handed, which is very, very convenient. So to test this bipod with a little bit more recoil than just an AR-15, I thought, why not some 7.62 by 39? That's the AK round. That's got a little bit more of a thump to it, so this SIG 5.56R should do the trick. I've got the bipod mounted on it, and I'm going to give it a try. Once again, my thanks to the great folks at Optics Planet for providing this MAGPUL bipod so I could test it and review it. And thank you to my Patreon patrons